It's Friday, the 29th of November 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories to race through in 5 minutes. Let's get going, because story number 1's a big one. There's nothing like a deadline, is there, to get things done? The federal government yesterday secured the support of the Greens and Independents in the Senate to pass 27 pieces of legislation, including reforms to the housing sector and to the Reserve Bank.
A very busy final day of Parliament for the year, in which horse trading was done to get the Greens and Independent Senators David Pocock and Jackie Lambie on side. Some of the changes that passed include bills to create a second board for the Reserve Bank to deal with monetary policy. That's in addition to a governance board. That all flows from recommendations from an inquiry into the central bank. The Future Made in Australia legislation, that's about $23 billion over the next decade to help transition to net zero. The Build to Rent housing bill. There was also negotiations between the government and opposition to pass bills, including the ban on under 16-year-olds using social media, a number of changes to migration laws, a few that didn't make it, extra tax on earnings from super accounts with $3 million in them, and another one that didn't make it, electoral reforms, which would have limited donations to political parties.
Sean, I would presume that the Greens extracted some concessions before doing a deal with the government. What do they get out of it?
About $500 million worth of promises, Michael, including improvements to energy efficiency in 50,000 social housing properties around the country. They want the government to now retrofit public and community housing to lower bills for tenants. Adam Bant, the Greens leader, reckons about 50,000 people will save $1,800 a year. What it does show is how much of politics is about posturing, and when it gets down to doing deals, they actually can get done. The money for the Greens came in exchange for agreement on 27 bills. The Greens can argue they've looked after their constituents, and so can Labor.
Okay, moving on to story number 2 now, Sean, and IAG will buy the insurance business of the Royal Automobile Club of Queensland for $855 million to add to its NRMA brand in New South Wales and RACV in Victoria.
It's a 25-year deal to sell home and car insurance policies to RACQ's 1.7 million members. RACQ, like NRMA and RACV, provides roadside assistance and sells insurance. IAG writes about $16 billion of premium per annum. It's got a bunch of other brands, CGU, WFI, Rollin Australia, ROLLIN Australia. Its share price jumped 4% yesterday.
Story number 3, talking companies that did well yesterday, ProMedicus' share price hit a record high yesterday after the imaging group signed a 10-year, $330 million deal with a large not-for-profit healthcare system in the US.
I reckon this is my early nomination for Company of the Year, at least among the large caps. ProMedicus is this technology company that bought an improved experience to radiology. Its Visage 7 product is a clinical desktop application that radiologists use to view, enhance and manipulate images from all sorts of devices. That way they can make a diagnostic. ProMedicus' share price was up 9% yesterday. It's up 150% this year so far. It's now the 22nd largest company on the bourse, easily the best performing of the top 100 stocks. The deal yesterday puts it into 93 hospitals across 26 states in the US. It puts it into the hands of about 127,000 physicians and clinicians. Big deal for them.
Sure is. Story number 4, a 24-hour stock exchange has been approved by US regulators, allowing around-the-clock trading, Sean, on Wall Street, which is a first for any major equity market anywhere in the world.
Startup 24 Exchange was approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission and will initially launch in regular hours, then expand to include around-the-clock trading from Sunday to Thursday. While treasuries and major currencies are traded almost continuously on weekdays, stocks haven't, because of tight rules designed to protect investors and because of the complexities and time needed to settle trades. Now, in recent years, round-the-clock trading has been given a boost by the rise of retail investors. They're keen to trade stocks outside their working hours. According to the FT, some brokers already execute customer out-of-hours stock orders in what's known as dark pools, where members trade amongst themselves. A regulated overnight exchange will mark a big change because it represents a lit market where trades and their prices become the official record. Happening on Wall Street, reckon it will be coming to an exchange near you pretty soon.
Last one, story number 5, a Chinese ship is suspected of severing 2 critical internet cables in the Baltic Sea in an act of sabotage that may have been orchestrated by Russia.
Investigators believe that the Yipang 3, a Chinese registered bulk carrier, deliberately severed the two key cables last week by dragging its anchor along the Baltic seabed for more than 160 kilometres, according to the Telegraph of London. The investigation is now focused on whether the captain of the 225-metre long ship was directed to carry out the suspected sabotage by Moscow. A senior European investigator told the Wall Street Journal, I quote, "It's extremely unlikely that the captain would not have noticed that his ship dropped and dragged its anchor, losing speed for hours and cutting cables on the way," end quote. The incident has caused concern among Western nations that Russia is engaging with what the White House describes hybrid warfare, although the Kremlin denies this.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Thursday, the 29th of November, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 business news by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.